It's the Big 12 on ESPN+. It's cold outside. It is full-on winter in the Midwest, but they are ready inside Bramlage Coliseum for a showdown in the Big 12. Former Big 8 rivals meeting for the first time this season. And here in Manhattan, Kansas, since Colorado joined the league. Courtside with you, Brian Small, along with former All-Big 12 guard Missy Heydrich. Sophie Smith, the third member of our crew, will join us in a moment. Great matchup here that dates and has some history to it. Colorado and K-State. We'll talk about some of the new storylines, including Zy Walker returning. Well, we start with the superstar power of these two teams. And for Colorado, Missy, it starts in the post with Jade Masagayo.
Well, you've got to have players that are going to produce each and every night. And the 6'3 senior has had a season-high 22 in the bus win over Oklahoma State. It's her athleticism that is difficult to contain. She creates matchup problems all over the place. She does it with her length and physicality, and she's become a top defender in the Big 12 as well. For Kansas State, it's Terrence Sides. The junior sharpshooter thrived in Allen Fieldhouse on Sunday. She dropped 26, and she went 5 of 8 from 3. That assertiveness has to carry over to tonight. K-State needs her to be a playmaker and lead from the front for the Wildcats here at home.
Terrence Sides coming off that 26-point performance against the Jayhawks. As you saw their last 3 games, 50% from behind the arc, 10 of 20. The Buffs come to the court. Taylor Carr, one of the assistant coaches for Colorado, also a former Wildcat, making her return. But the storyline about former Wildcats being in this building is not Taylor Carr, but Zy Walker, and more on her. We welcome in Sophie Smith, the third member of our crew. Hello, Sophie.
Hey, Brian. Coach Payne talked earlier this week about Ziana Walker's return to Manhattan. Now, she's from Wichita, Kansas, but she started her career at Louisville, but ultimately played her last season here in Manhattan under Coach Schmitty. Now, she left on good terms, but it could be an interesting situation playing your old foe. Coach Payne said it could go either way. Players sometimes shine, and other times it's just a little weird. She noted for tonight's game, Walker is one of the players she's counting on to be a key difference maker.
You see what Zy Walker did in this building a year ago. A fan favorite, a defensive superstar that could hit shots. Listen, she's already played one of her former teams already this year in Louisville and dropped 17 on Jeff Walsh's club. She's very familiar with this gym.
Yeah, team leader in assists, averaging just shy of 11 points a game so far this season. She's a scorer and a playmaker, one that's very difficult to contain.
All right, let's look at your keys to victory. What's the recipe for success with these two teams?
For Colorado, it's the aggressor first. They got to handle the pressure and the changing defense of K-State. They got to be passive. You cannot be passive. You got to attack tonight. And 3D, the Buffs have got to be great lately in running teams off the three-point line and forcing tough threes. They got to do that. For the Wildcats, it's about energy and effort, Brian, and they've got to trust the defense. They got to dial in on the scatter and port. It all starts here in the half court. You've got to be in the right spot. You got to rotate, and they got to play really good team defense against Colorado.
Did not do that early against the Jayhawks, and it burned them. Here's Walker in the lane, unable to hit. The rebound falls, though, to the Buffaloes, one of the better rebounding teams in the league. Second chance look, and it's a Betson three-point shot. This is not a great three-point shooting team, but Betson, one of the big threats.
Well, keep in mind the 6'2 sophomore, last year, a season ago, the preseason Big 12 Freshman of the Year, struggled at times, has dealt with injury, but in and out of the lineup, but is acclaimed, and you can see she's got a lot of weapons.
Harad able to get inside, got great position, but misses the lay-in. Buffs in black, Wildcats in white. Walker, the former Wildcat, in the neon orange shoes. Ball deflected out, will stay with Colorado.
And you're going to see a lot of changing defense opportunities right here for the Wildcats. They're going to use the zone. They want to be able to set their pressure when they get makes or you get dead ball situations. But against the zone, if you're CU, you're going to have to attack. Ball's got to get to the middle of the floor. You got to find the gaps.
Bit of a high pass. It's pulled down by Dutas. Dutas turns down a 3. Shot clock winding down. Long triple put up that won't go. Walker crashes the offensive rebound, but couldn't hit the putback.
Yeah, she's missed 2 now. Easy ones at the rim, but those are the second chances if you're K-State. You cannot give up. You force them into a tough shot, you got to box out.
Walker in a switch guarding Harad here. Harad, one of the talented freshmen, part of the 8th-ranked recruiting class in the country for the Wildcats. And Jeff Mitty, one of the youngest teams in all of Power 4 basketball. It's been a roller coaster ride for K-State so far this year, and they're also down again One of their superstars in Tess Heel out for the second straight game as she deals with an eligibility issue. Walker pickpockets Garcia. Step around and lay in.
We talked about the versatility and the playmaking just a moment ago for Ziana Walker, but it is her defense. Keep in mind, she was a member of the Big 12 all-defensive team a season ago when she was at K-State.
A couple of members of the respective conferences' defensive teams that have transferred into this Colorado team. Classens will let go a three-pointer. Doesn't fall. Harad, the offensive rebound. And another close one missed by K-State.
There's been 3 bunnies now that have not gone in for the Wildcats, and the pace that you see, this is what Colorado can do. They get a stop, they want to get out and go.
Off of those again, as we mentioned, not a team that's going to hunt threes. Trying to find ways inside. Sides able to get back and get a steal. Some pickpockets Mackerlane. Mackerlane so far has been tight. And Terran Sides hip pocket. Garcia able to run. Little floater is the first K-State basket.
Patience in the half court. That's where Gina Garcia is going to thrive, Brian. You've got to be able to allow her to operate. They're going to play man. You got to read the defense. See how they're going to cover on those high ball screens.
K-State forces a turnover with their press.
You see her turn the corner, and she's able to put the defense on her hip and finish. The floater, a piece of her game that she started to add throughout the course of the season. I think the big piece is understanding that the pull-up jumper might always not be there, but if you get deep into the lane, you gotta find a way to be able to get that ball up on the rim.
And without Heel, K-State needs a little more offense from different spots. Here's Janessa Cotton, who has started much of the season. A little nice pick and roll run with Garcia. And Cotton on the board.
Did not score in the game at Kansas on Sunday. Had 3 rebounds, but they need some production from the front court. There's no doubt about it.
He talked to us about that quite a bit. Really leaning into his posts overall, needing them to play better. I mentioned Cotton by name as part of that group. In the middle of the lane, in and out, no good for Logan Greer. Freshman recruited by K-State, but chose Colorado. Classens the other way. Runner doesn't fall, and Walker the rebound.
The Wildcats love to play with pace themselves, but right now it's been Colorado trying to force action. I think they want to get K-State in a bit of a run game, and you got to be able to get moving one direction or the other. But if you're Kansas State, the high pick and roll, you've got to read it, you got to find the slip screen and space, and that's where Janessa Cotton is going to thrive. What you don't want to do, don't put it on the floor in traffic, be able to finish quick.
Off a double screen, Sides after a defender fell down, couldn't get the 3, and Walker another rebound. Buffaloes came in as a team shooting 43%, averaging just under 70 points per game on the season and about 67.5 in conference play. Wooten to pull up 3, that's no good. And the battle for the board off the foot of Spicer out of bounds.
Asked J.R. Payne earlier this week if she said, if you're going to go on the road, who are the players that are the X factor, the ones that have to step up for you? And she talked about Jade Masagayo. She mentioned Wooten, and then obviously Ziana Walker, all players that they need not only production from on the offensive end, but they have got to be really good defensively.
Swing around the perimeter for the Buffs. Drive inside, and a foul will be called on Cotton, who was trying to get a tie-up on the dribble drive. That's the first on Janessa Cotton, transfer from Duke. K-State went young when they went to the portal and brought in this freshman class. You have Arenas and Cotton, who are respective sophomores, who play at their respective teams off the bench. Three-pointer here by Greer. Another offensive rebound, Dutop.
Second chance opportunities. This is where, if you're Colorado, you have to convert.
Walker left open for a 3. She got it!
That's a big one right there. She's coming off 6 of 9 from the field and 13 points in the win against Oklahoma State. We mentioned it earlier, not only leading this team in assists, but she's averaging just shy of 11 a game on the season.
Good start by the Buffs on the road. They've hit a couple of 3s. Sides here on a dribble drive, unable to get the shot. Cotton the offensive rebound. Spicer from way downtown. And the Buffs get the rebound. Classens over the back with a foul will send this to a timeout. So the Wildcats with only 4 on the board against this stingy Colorado defense. Tess Heel not playing again for K-State. Sophie Smith with more on that when we return.
Welcome back to the Big 12 here on ESPN Plus. And you said it earlier, Brian, Tess Heel is out for her 2nd game in a row. And Coach Jeff Mittie said earlier this week that it's affected this team a lot because she's the one with that certain brain who's always vocal in the huddle and always gives those last words coming out of timeouts. He says that she has that natural ability to just step up and lead in those key moments, but added it's another great opportunity for others to step up. He says they needed that all year, and now it's time for others to grow into certain roles.
Yeah, tough one for Tess Heel, who is run through a brick wall type of kid, old school, and not out there in the court. And beyond the impact of her being the real only leader of a team that doesn't have a lot of vocal leadership for a young group, there's also the idea of K-State's depth taking a hit because she wasn't necessarily an impact player in a starting role for K-State.
Yeah, she had started multiple games, but spent a lot of time over the course of this season coming off the bench. And when you're averaging just shy of 17 points a game in Big 12 play with one person, that's going to be a big blow. So you've got to find others that are going to step up and do that. Top 4 teams in the league in terms of who and getting what they want from their bench production. Both of these teams here tonight, they are on that list. So much of that driven by Tess Heel, who is unavailable yet again for the Cats.
No announcement or really no timetable for her return. She's ineligible now until the NCAA reinstates her after the signed contract with an Australian semi-pro team. Drive by Spicer, could not get the layup.
Been multiple shots missed at the rim for the Wildcats, but give credit because I think this Colorado defense has been very good. One of the things J.R. Payne and her staff have preached to this Colorado team, tough guarded 2s, tough guarded 3s. You've got to make it difficult, nothing easy, especially at the rim.
K-State just 2 of 11 from the floor. Walker for another 3, could not hit that one. Rebound to Jordan Spicer, 5-star McDonald's All-American.
And K-State just 1 of their last 7. So now you've got to get good shots within the framework of your offense in that attack mode.
Ramaya White. We talked with Coach Mittie about Ramaya White taking over this role of burying people underneath the basket like Ayoka Lee did for years.
So much of it, I think, is matchup driven, and it is the ability to be able to know who you have and who's on your backside. With some teams, Ramaya White is going to get more minutes. Against others, it is not going to be a great matchup. But tonight, her ability to get that low position, to be able to pin people deep, that's one of those things that they have to have. They need, as we just said a few moments ago, production from the front court. White, Cotton, they are a big piece of that.
Let's go to Sophie Smith with more on Ramaya White.
Thanks, Brian. Jeff Mittie said that Ramaya White has made some great improvements, especially with her work in the post. He said that her timing and position are improving every single day in practice. Her feet are active. She's getting bigger. She's playing stronger. And Coach Mittie said that instead of just staying on the block, she's now burying defenders and really forcing them to make decisions, which is exactly the growth that they've been looking for out of her.
Ramaya, another one of those sophomore transfers that didn't play a whole lot at her previous school, Virginia Tech. I think Sides wanted her to pick and roll there off the handoff, but didn't get it. Spicer instead, a long 3, in and out. K-State struggles on the offensive end continue. 3 of 13 from the floor, 0 of 4 behind the arc. Wooten on a drive, no. Follow doesn't go. Ball to the ground, and a tie-up will give the possession to the Buffaloes.
Yeah, it's been physical on that end of the floor. This Kansas State defense having to scramble because of the pace that Colorado's playing with right now. They are forcing action, working to get downhill, making K-State to have to guard them and kind of scramble in that zone. With that said, you got to find somebody to put a body on and block out of that 2-3, Brian, because you cannot give up second chance opportunities at will right now to the Buffs.
On the inbound, the ball knocked away by White. It was intended for Masagayo. Isela Arenas is in, the Louisville transfer. Again, that part of that 3-headed monster, the sophomores who didn't play a lot at their last school or played off the bench. A young team. A couple of freshmen out there for K-State right now, 2 sophomores and then the junior Sides. The only starter back from last year's team. Shot clock winding down. Wooten straight on. Not there. And Harad the rebound.
And forcing Colorado into tough threes low in that shot clock. That's good defense right there by the Cats.
And Harad called for an illegal screen. Couldn't stay set as sides came around behind him.
You want to be able to use that space and use it to your advantage, but as she came around to try to set that screen, see if she can't turn the corner, it's just too much movement. Brandy Harad's you got to make a decision. You got to choose. Are you going to stand there and set the screen, or are you going to get out of the way?
In between lands with a foul. Harad's first. Wooten again. Still unable to hit. It hasn't been much better for the Buffs, who are now 4 of 18 from the floor. There's Arenas. As K-State looks for something to go. K-State has struggled with only 3 made shots, but they're only down 4 points. Defense has ruled the day. A near turnover saved by Harad. Sides. Passes away from the double team. Harad up and under.
Finally gets that one to go. Missed too early to start this game at point blank, but Brandy Harad off the pick and roll. You don't stand, you got to keep moving, force the defense to have to make a choice.
Long 2 put up, way too long by Colorado. Wooten back with the offensive board, gets the foul and 1.
Desiree Wooten has been a lift coming in from North Texas, where she was an all-conference defensive team selection. She was second team as well at North Texas. But it is her speed and her athleticism, I think, that has just given this Colorado squad another look. They are down 2 of their best 3-point shooters out this season in injury. Kennedy Sanders, Claire O'Connor, unavailable, both out for the year. Wooten has been their top 3-point threat since then. But I think she just has so many of those other intangibles. And when you ask J.R. Payne, who are some of those X factors, she absolutely is going to be on that list each and every time.
So Harad will now have to sit. She made that last basket for K-State, but now also commits the foul, because Wooten will take the free throw and drill it. 5 points for Desiree Wooten, transfer from North Texas, who will take a breather, and Greer back in, so some size out on the court for the final 34 seconds.
In the last game, Desiree Wooten pulled down 9 rebounds to go along with their 15 points when they played Oklahoma State. So you can see the activity from the backcourt and the guards of Colorado on the glass.
It's a team that rebounds very well. Not much difference between the game clock and shot clock, about 4 seconds. Former teammates Sides and Walker going at each other here at the end of this quarter. Spicer drives, loses the ball, trying to go up against Walker, somehow scores. And that'll end the first quarter, a low-scoring defensive affair that has the Wildcats down 3 after 1. Colorado 13, K-State 10. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN+. Back at Bramlage after 1 quarter, Kansas State down 3, Colorado up by 3. They've hit 2 threes, neither team has hit many shots. That left a lot of rebounds to be gathered in this first half. And as we take a look at the numbers, the rebounding statistics, oh my.
Yeah, this Colorado squad is going to crash the glass. There's no doubt. That is one of their key factors. They've got to generate themselves some second chances. They did that. 9 offensive rebounds equaling 9 points. And that's that margin. And it is a thin margin of error, I think, for both of these squads as you think about what they need to do this season. But if you could dominate the glass, get yourself some second chances. And we see that with K-State finally getting an offensive board.
State's had a couple of offensive rebounds in this game. There's another. Shakic, a jumper from the elbow won't fall. K-State tries to tie up Colorado, and they do get the tie up and stay with the Buffs.
And this Colorado team, 6th in the Big 12 in rebounding margin, top 5 in offensive rebounding, Brian. Is that margin of plus 6.8, and that ranks them 3rd. K-State has struggled with that number, and so far 17 to 10 in this game and 9 offensive for the Buffs.
Shakic mid-year transfer from Slovenia, getting some rare first half playing time in this game, as K-State has gone a little unconventional today with Ramiah White and Shekic trying to work in the post with these shooters on the perimeter.
Well, we said not only are you looking for production from your front court, but you're also looking for someone to be that rim protector defensively.
Shot clock at 5. Spicer from way downtown, no. Shekic, another offensive rebound. That sets up Garcia, who hits the mid-range.
And the first second chance points for Kansas State in this game comes from the offensive board and the kick out.
5 offensive rebounds for K-State, which is a rarity. As you said, they are not a team that crashes the offensive glass much. Career three-pointer is nowhere close, and it's out of bounds to K-State.
One thing is a message from this Colorado coaching staff is that they've got to have ball movement in the half court, but they also have to be able to think about that equates into shot selection, and you've got to be able to get good looks within the framework. You don't want to get sped up. When you play with some pace, you also have to play smart. And I think right now for Colorado, they're settling for that long mid-range jumper. You got to be in attack mode against that zone and against the man.
Garcia driving a kick. Spicer turns down the 3, drives, gets the whistle, and will head to the free throw line. A little bit of maturation from the freshman Spicer in her game, turning down the 3 to get a better shot.
Yeah, I love the pump fake, to be able to read the defense. Don't settle for the 30-foot three-point shot. There's no reason to. Use the pump fake, force them to have to make a decision. Rotation is late from Colorado, and that's where the foul comes. And now you have an opportunity to make them pay. I think this is where it is a learning curve. But we are far enough, I think, into this season where as freshmen, there's going to be a point where you don't really call them that anymore. But I think it's about shot selection and understanding, and you got to be really good at being able to read the defense.
Colorado able to beat the pressure of K-State. Walker back out on the court to help this Colorado team. The Buffs, like K-State, only one starter back from last year's team with 10 newcomers. Ball knocked away. Whether Shekic actually knocked it or it just was lost by Masagayo, either way, another turnover.
Yeah, Jade Masagayo scoreless here in this game so far.
Great cut by Shekic, but she couldn't make the jumper or make the layup. Impact minutes, though, from number 99, the transfer from, again, mid-season from Slovenia. Then mixing it up with Masagayo. Slovenia native Ivona Shekic will get called for the personal.
And that's the ISO that Colorado wants from Masagayo. They've got to get her those looks. She's been thriving at that 5 spot. We talked about it. I think a season ago, maybe kind of stumbled across, caught some people by surprise, but I think because of her ability to impact you with her length, and she can catch and she can finish in traffic. That's where she's so effective on that low block.
K-State wanted to challenge that last call, but did not get it in time before the ball was played in. Walker trying to go one-on-one, shot clock winding down, just fires it up at the rim, and he gets back to Colorado, run down by Dutat.
Yet another tough shot, forced jumper late in the shot clock.
Both of these two teams playing very well defensively. Shot clock again down to 5. Long 3, Mackerlane, no. Loose ball to Garcia. Offense at a premium in this one. Garcia sees an opening, couldn't hit it. Betson the rebound. And a reach-in foul on Classens. That's her second.
Now I think Jeff Mitty's going to have a decision to make. Is Nastia Classens going to be able to weather this storm with 2 fouls throughout the course of the season when she's been in foul trouble and has had to spend time on the bench? I don't think that is when K-State has been as good. They are better when she's on the floor. Looks as though he's going to leave her in. She had just 5 points, 4 rebounds versus Kansas. We talked about that front court production. I think she factors into that to be able to get multiple players that could score and give you an opportunity to be able to put some points up on the board.
Stoppage here. K-State may challenge this call. Officials getting to a huddle. No signal yet. Meta Christensen, Infinity Robinson, and Angel Kent are 3 officials here tonight. And we'll get a word here from
We're reviewing the monitor for a possible unobserved foul.
There you go. So a challenge by Kansas State, it would appear. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN+. Well, while we were away, they did review the play that Ivona Shekic got mixed up with Jade Masagayo to see if there was a hook and hold and a flagrant foul here.
Yeah, this is right where you're going to keep your eyes peeled, because this is where the action is. Foul was called on Shekic, and I think Kansas State was looking for extracurricular, the unobserved coming from Masagayo, but it all happened at the whistle. Then there was the tangle, then she went. I think that's why there was no additional whistle or foul that was given, and the foul was upheld. Kansas State loses a timeout in that situation as well.
That's right, you lose the appeal, so you lose an early timeout. And it's a de facto timeout anyway, because trying to get things squared away if you're K-State. So they burn one here in the first half, 3 remaining. You can challenge even if you don't have timeouts, but you do run the risk, just like calling a timeout with none left, that it is a technical foul. You lose a challenge. Spicer having to work in the paint, couldn't get it to Ramaya White. Shot clock down to 10. Garcia to Spicer, who's had to do a lot of heavy lifting. Shot clock under 5. Spicer at the buzzer, rolls it in.
Kept the dribble alive, called for the basketball at that high post, was one-on-one. Size advantage against Wooten, able to finish through traffic.
An 8-0 run here for K-State the last 4 minutes plus, as they try to exert a little bit of dominance in this game. Colorado and the Cats both struggling on offense. Wooten, tough shot over White, and Garcia crashes down to get the rebound.
That's what you've got to do. You got to split the seams on the zone. Wooten got the shot, couldn't get it to go.
K-State guards trying to help out now on the glass after getting mauled in that department in the first quarter. Garcia trying to get to White. Pass a little bit tardy. Saw this in the game in Lawrence, late in the game. We talked with Jeff Biddy about it. We could see Ramaya White signaling to her teammates, like, swing it around, swing it. I'm open if you can get the ball over to the other side.
And that's not as easy as it sounds. You've got to be able to get good ball movement in the half court, and when those post players get that position, your guards and others have to identify it.
Garcia working one-on-one, tough runner, doesn't go. White tips the rebound, and a reset coming for K-State. Foy, little floater in the lane. No, that one knocked out to Colorado.
What we saw the Buffs in the first quarter, being able to crash the glass for second chances. Now Kansas State much more active, a lot more energy, a sense of urgency on the offensive boards.
Masagayo forced to give up the ball. Baseline drilled jumper by Anna Gooden. Ariana Gooden, the daughter of former K-State football player Eric Gooden.
It's the first bucket here in this second quarter for Colorado.
It's been a battle. Truthfully, though, if you're K-State, that's a shot you wanted to take. Sides open, took a long 3, could not hit it. Buffaloes really had a bad luck turnover with the ball off the foot of the Wildcat. Suddenly a 1-point game again. It's been a 6-2 second quarter. We're over midway through. Masagayo really having a tough time against Ramaya White.
Nowhere to operate. They get her the ISO on the low block, but she's going to have to be able to go by Ramaya White. You're not going to be able to go over her.
Spicer, strong take inside, but leaning in with the shoulders, going to call for the offensive foul.
Doesn't like the call. A lot of signaling from the Kansas State bench as well about maybe a flop, but you see her being in the right spot. Gooden goes down, she holds her ground. She's inside that restricted arc. For all of those watching out there in women's basketball, that circle underneath is not a factor anymore. But regardless, you got to understand, you draw that contact, the help side's coming. Body control, ball control.
Yep, if you initiate the contact as an offensive player, more times than not going to get called for a foul. That's just the second foul of the game on Colorado, as Greer called for an illegal screen out high. and a turnover by the Buffs.
Yeah, if you're Colorado, you're looking for others that need to get going and turn on the engine. 9 points, 9 boards off the bench against Oklahoma State for Logan Greer. That's one that could get it going and needs to be involved in the offense.
Been a little light for both teams offensively. Here's Arenas off the screen, thought about a three, now she'll drive. Little floater up and in.
And I think that's a much better look for Arenas than the three-point shot, Brian. She's got to put it on the floor and create off the dribble drive penetration.
So quick. State hoping that that becomes a bigger part of her game, that flow to the basket. She's just so fast with the ball. Drive inside, the ball knocked away by Foy. Sides in transition, looks for Spicer, and a travel on Jordan Spicer, the freshman.
Yeah, took an extra step. You've got to be able to catch and then go. That is right in front of the official. They're going to see that pivot foot each and every time. And Colorado dodges a bullet because they did really not have much continuity the last trip down.
K-State
It was great hands. It was great hands by Taryn Sides in the front of that zone, and that's where they've been incredibly active here in this second quarter.
Greer at the high post, able to turn and score. Well, the Wildcats love transition threes. If you do not match up on a secondary break or a primary break, they will hit you with three-point shots quickly. Here's Spicer. Could not get free. Walker with a near steal. Arenas on the swing, got a good look but couldn't hit it. Colorado within one, another chance to get back in front. Greer flustered at the high post, unable to hit. Spicer the rebound.
That's where the ball has to go, Brian. The ball's got to go to the middle of the floor if you're Colorado against this zone. The high post is where the action needs to feed from. And that's a catch by Greer, whether that's a catch by Masagayo. Either way, they've got to get in that space. That's where you want to be. Greer hit it more in that mid-range side, but if you're high post, free throw line extended, that's the attack zone against it.
Shekic and White rotating at the center spot today for K-State. Again, if you just joined us, no Tess Heel for the Wildcats again today without one of their stars in conference play. She's been a huge factor for K-State in Big 12 action. Out again as the NCAA sorts through an eligibility question. Shekic battling down low, trying to find an opening. K-State 4 out, 1 in, trying to get the pass to her. The ball comes in and a foul committed by Jade Crook, another Aussie for this Colorado team, a freshman.
Yeah, the 6'4" freshman getting some minutes here. A lot of different bodies in and out of the lineup for Colorado, wanting to play with pace, wanting to play at a quicker tempo on both ends of the floor.
Inbound right to Spicer, trying to find a way inside. And good, it's good, and a foul, on an offensive foul on Spicer.
She lowered the shoulder. I think this is going to be yet again the same thing we saw last time. You initiate the contact. She's going to catch it on the screen. That's where she probably should have gone up. Draw the contact, tries to loop around. She lowers the shoulder on Masagayo, and that's where the contact comes.
Yes, was there a flop by Masagayo? Absolutely, but as you said, the contact was initiated by Spicer, so.
You got to remember, there's an official standing right there. They see the whole thing.
Back tap by Masagayo, Walker to the ground, trying to shovel the ball off to a teammate. Colorado in scramble mode will reset. Shot clock under 10. Ball deflected as it goes into Crook. K-State running, lob ahead, and fumbled by Foy out of bounds. 11 turnovers on the Buffs, and now 8 on K-State.
You get the stop and exactly what you want right there, but for Kansas State, these are the types of possessions right here you want to be able to string together.
Top of the circle, and a three-pointer drilled by Gooden.
Off the bench, giving them some solid minutes here in this first half. Someone had to step up for Colorado, knock down a perimeter shot.
3 threes in this game, all made by Colorado. K-State 0 of 7 from behind the arc. They've had some great looks. They just haven't gone down. Arenas with the shot clock and game clock at 10 seconds. The ball knocked out. It will stay with K-State. And Colorado's going to challenge. Zy Walker right in front of us said that one off of Arenas' foot. And Jeff Biddy said the same, just told Arenas the same thing. That went off your foot. So I think this is going to be won by Colorado.
Yeah, it could be very quick in terms of a review here by the officials. But again, the pressure that you see.
Under review challenged by Colorado.
The pressure that you see from this Colorado defense, especially Ziana Walker out front. And this position, yeah, that looks as though it goes right off her foot as she turned. And this possession is going to more than likely go right back to the Buffaloes, and they're going to have 8.1 left here in the second quarter.
Now the veteran Walker, the redshirt junior.
I gotta be honest, because you and I, we see a lot of games, we do a lot of games. There's many instances where players will look at coaches and say, oh yeah, I want you to review that. I want that to be looked at. Doesn't always happen.
Yep.
So give credit, because J.R. Payne believed her point guard, understood. She said, well, she was right there in the play. When she heard her say it, she was like, all right, I want to see it. They haven't used a timeout here.
As successful as Colorado balls, the ball went out of Kansas State's foot. Colorado ball on the sideline.
So 9 turnovers now for K-State, back to back.
They had not used a timeout yet here in this first half, so it's kind of the use it or lose it for them. If the challenge is not upheld, then they lose the timeout. This time it's reversed. They get the ball, 8.1 here in the game clock.
Keep all the timeouts. Zy Walker, the veteran, with the savvy move. Chance for Colorado to build in this first half. In the lane, Masagayo triple team. Will whistle as she just spins and shoots. And it's going to go on Spicer. That's her third. 2 offensive fouls, and now this foul, and it'll put Masagayo at the line for 2.
Drawn up by the Colorado coaches during that review call. An ISO to be able to get Masagayo room to operate mid-post. Allow her to go one-on-one. It was a tough ball to catch. She's able to pull it in. And that is the first point that we have seen from the 6'3" senior here in this first half.
Bobcats have frustrated her with size with White and Shekic. She makes both. Colorado with a late 7-0 run here. Sides from midcourt, unable to hit. We are at the break. A 7-0 run in the final 2:43 of this second quarter has allowed J.R. Payne's team to take the lead. Let's go to Sophie Smith, who's with the head coach.
Coach, what have you liked most about your dominant defensive performance?
Say it again?
What have you liked most about your dominant defensive performance?
Well, I like our defense a lot better than our offense right now. I don't know, I think we're switching pretty aggressively, contesting shots. We got to continue to do a better job on the defensive glass.
What do you want to see offensively on this side of the ball?
More paint touches.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Get it inside. Let Masagayo go to work if you're Colorado. At the half, it's been a struggle for both offenses. The defenses have ruled the day. We'll talk about it. Look at the numbers when we return. I don't know what this game is called, but it involves trying to catch a broom before it falls. It's quite a battle going on right now between these two out on the court. Speaking of battles, it was a defensive battle in the first half. Not pretty if you're looking for offensive basketball. If you like defense, though,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of that in the first half. All right, so listen, defense and rebounding, everyone talks about those two things are going to win you a game. And we saw Colorado turn that into a little late first half run. But what's your takeaway of what these two coaches are going to talk about here at halftime?
Well, I think if you're Colorado, you always know that defense is going to travel. So you have the ability to bring that with you. Even if you're cold, not getting great shots and execution on the offensive end, you can get stops and you can crash the glass. That's what they had to do, especially in that first half. 25 rebounds, 11 on the offensive end. If you're J.R. Payne, she just said it, paint touches. They've got to go inside out. You got to get to that high post. You got to get to the short corner. You're going to have to attack it off the dribble drive against that zone. For Kansas State, they had good looks, Brian. A lot of easy bunnies, some ones at the rim that they couldn't get to go. You've just got to stay aggressive. And when you get your post players positioned and they pin people deep, you got to get them the basketball. You don't want to settle for the 30-foot three. That is not the shot that you want within the framework. They've got to be the aggressor. You've got to get downhill, force Colorado to have to guard you one-on-one.
Buffalo is shooting just 26%, K-State just 29%, but here we are at the half. The Buffs 3 threes have been able to stay in front of the Wildcats. When we come back, it's everyone's favorite, Missy Heydrich, to give us the Heydrich Hot List, invaluable playmakers. Back at halftime at Bramlage Coliseum, Kansas State and Colorado. Brian Smoller, Missy Heydrich with you, and it is time again for a Heydrich's Hot List. Coaches tell us all the time that there are those players on their team that they need night in, night out to have success. You can't win without these players. They're the invaluable playmakers. Missy, what do you have for us here with this hot list?
Well, it's about versatility and production in critical moments, and this is my list of those players right now in the Big 12. And it starts with Snudda Collins, the senior guard for Texas Tech. The 6'1 transfer from Ole Miss has had a major impact on the Lady Raiders' success. She comes off the bench as a spark. She's averaging over 23 minutes of action. She's second on the team in scoring, shooting 43% from three. She's a threat anywhere and an energy boost with her experience and physicality for Tech. Baylor's Dariana Littlepage-Buggs, the 6'1 senior, has gotten better every year she's been in Waco, and this one is no exception. Her size and athleticism impacts the game in multiple ways. She's averaging a double-double on the season, a monster on the glass, pulling down just shy of 12 rebounds a game in Big 12 action, and she leads the league in rebounding. She's also shooting just north of 66% from the floor against Big 12 opponents. Now we got to talk about Jada Williams, the junior playmaker for Iowa State. The reigning Big 12 Player of the Week continues to showcase why she was a massive portal get for the Cyclones in the offseason. Top 5 in the conference in scoring, leads the league in assists per game. She dropped a career-high 44 against Cincinnati last week. In Iowa State single game Big 12 record and Hilton Coliseum single game record. She plays with a toughness and an intensity that you cannot teach. BYU's super sophomore Delaney Gibb, the 5'10 guard, took the league by storm a season ago and continues to dominate. She's dealt with injuries, and when she's out, the Cougars suffer. She's fourth leading scorer in the Big 12. She puts pressure on the defense with her ability to get downhill and handle contact. She's been in double figures every game this season, including 28 against West Virginia last week. And Elle Evans, KU senior guard, shooters shoot, and Evans fits this role perfectly for the Jayhawks. On the season, she's shooting over 51% from behind the arc and ranks her first in the country. In the last 2 wins, she's come off the bench for KU to give them a huge lift, going 7 for 9 from deep. Defenses must always know where she is as a threat, and that is a big boost for this Kansas offense.
All right, so those are the 5. What about key reserves, the ones you also couldn't win without?
Well, these are the ones we rarely need to take out on a given night. Sydney Shaw from West Virginia, the 5'9 senior guard. She started every game this season, averaging double figures. She gives West Virginia a three-point threat. She's second on the team in steals. She's going to get after you defensively. And Clara Silva, the 6'7 sophomore post for TCU. She started every game this season for the Horned Frogs, a double-digit score, third in the Big 12 in rebounding, and she's a big-time rim protector. I think that's where she impacts the game the most for 12th-ranked TCU.
Heydrich's Hot List, invaluable playmakers. Second half coming up when we return. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN+.
A 4-point lead for Colorado on the road in a bit of a rock fight. But for Kansas State, it's with their defense. One of 7 steals there by Terrence Sides. Gina Garcia able to finish on the bounce, as well as use that pick and roll, one of the few possessions where Kansas State got execution. Jordan Spicer off the bounce, the freshman not settling. 6 points in that first half. For Colorado, they've got to spread the wealth, and it starts with Ziana Walker, the Kansas State transfer. 5 points, 7 rebounds, able to finish. Desiree Wooten able to get to the middle of the lane. The Buffs want to score in the paint, and they've got to score in the mid-range. They got it from Logan Greer, the 6'4 freshman. A 7-0 run to close out the first half for Colorado. They're up 22-18. And right now it's been about offensive rebounding, getting to the glass, One of these two teams is going to go on a run, Brian. It's just a matter of who can get stops and make shots.
Well, the third quarter will be an interesting start for both teams because offense, sometimes you see this in games where you have like this, as you called it appropriately, a rock fight, where it's just defense, 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 and then everybody comes out and it just explodes, and the offense it comes out, and both teams have made adjustments.
Yep.
Curious what adjustments are going to be made. We heard J.R. Payne say go inside. For Jeff Mittie and K-State, what's their adjustment? They were going inside and using their post touches with 4 out. Do they change anything here?
Well, I think a couple really good possessions for Kansas State was the pick and roll and off the bounce. You got to get downhill. You're going to have to make this Colorado defense have to be able to shift. They've got to use those screens, make them have to do the switches, make them get lost. You've got to force them in multiple directions. I think it's also the energy and effort. There were a couple of 50-50 possessions that went to Colorado. Jeff Mittie mentioned that out of the Kansas game, that there were possessions that they needed that they did not get down the stretch, especially in the first half in Lawrence, and those were difference makers. If you're Colorado, they've been able to shut down this K-State offense because they've had that good energy, but I think for them it's the execution on the offensive side of the ball where it's the paint touches, and you got to get to the middle and beat that zone.
Walker denying the inbound for sides, and Klassens moved her feet on the inbounds, and that will be a turnover just to begin the third quarter, and Jeff Mittie can only bury his head into his hands.
Yeah, not at all to start. If you are Jeff Mittie, now turnover number 10 for the Wildcats here in this game. Get nothing out of it to start the half.
They had 4 turnovers in the final 3:19 of that first half, but they did not score, so that turnover trend continues. Unforced errors, those were the ones that drive a coach crazy.
Self-inflicted wounds, and when you do those things, it's hard to bounce back, but you've got to figure out a way to make the adjustments.
Walker had a good first half, but could not hit the shot. Ramaya White the rebound. Walker 5 points, 7 boards, 2 steals in the first half, and her return to Manhattan in her home state, Wichita Heights product. She has the assignment of guarding sides here to try and slow down the K-State junior. Klassens after a flop inside and an and one.
One of the few opportunities where K-State has had someone other than White or Cotton get an ISO on that low block, and they go straight to Nastia Klassens. One-on-ones against McLaren, and she has nowhere to go. Tries to draw a charge, too much contact. Now you've got a chance at that three-point play. Klassens was held scoreless in that first 20 minutes, Brian, and when you start to remove that, a player that's averaging 11 points a game in Big 12 play, you got to have that production. You can't have these off nights, these droughts. Those are going to be the backbreakers.
So a three-point play pulls the game to a 1-point deficit, and the Buffs to the offensive end for the second time here in the third quarter. Walker against this 2-3 zone. K-State has stayed in the zone pretty much the entirety of the game. 2 times of press, but not much other. Masagayo through the lane. Tough runner. Got it.
Caught in that short corner and able to operate. Kept the dribble alive through traffic. A much better possession by the Buffaloes. More cutting, more movement.
Masagayo with her first field goal of the game. Coming off that 22 against Oklahoma State. Good cut by Garcia, but she missed the shot.
That's downhill, and that's where you've got to be. You got to put those defenders on that back hip and get to the rim.
Mackerlane trying to find an opening. Walker's going to let go a three-pointer. In and out. Ramaya White another rebound.
And it's been one and done as well here. The last couple trips for Colorado, when they haven't scored, they have not had second chances on the offensive glass.
Rod one-on-one. Trying to go up and under. Betson does. Missed the shot. And the Buffs lost the rebound out of bounds. But it's off of K-State, I should say, so to the Buffs. Utah's going to come out. Wooten is back.
I think you're looking for Desiree Wooten to have one of those sort of big bursts. You mentioned it, sometimes offense just starts to come, but for Wooten, her ability to slice and dice, get to the middle off the penetration against the zone, that's going to be critical.
Zagayo baseline could not hit it. Garcia gets the loose ball. Wooten, to your point, one of only 2 players with 5 points for the Buffs. Turnover by Garcia, throws it away. Walker, and then grabbed by Sides as Walker was off to the races, and there'll be a discussion of whether that's intentional or not by Terrence Sides.
In my opinion, I think that's got to be whistled as an intentional foul.
Agreed.
Because she was on her way to shoot a wide open layup, and she grabs her there in that space. Was not going for the basketball, and I have to say, I believe that's the right call in that situation. That would be 2 shots now for Walker, and Colorado will keep the possession.
So Sides hit with her first. The intentional foul. Walker to the free throw line. Another steal for Zai Walker, who has 3. And now is the leading scorer for the Buffs with 6 points. Wichita Heights to Louisville, where coming out of high school, she was the number 55 player in the country, number 8 guard in the nation. Barely played, ended up redshirting after a time at Louisville, came to K-State, 2 years in Manhattan, highlighted by last year's Sweet 16 run, averaged 8 points, 3.5 assists. Had tremendous games, including a 10-assist game against DePaul, 9-rebound game against Milwaukee. A little less production for the Buffs this year in a redshirt junior season, but a force for them again. Ramaya White, good defense inside on Masagayo. Harad leaking out, able to hit the left-hand layup. Fed by Sides.
And that's where K-State's got to be, Brian. They got to get out in transition. You get stops, you got to run. Push, pace, and tempo.
Wooten over White.
That's the ability to get downhill. And I want to put the ball in Desiree Wooten's hands and let her slice and dice, get in the gaps of that 2-3.
It's her first basket since the first quarter. And now she leads the team with 7. Arenas steps inside of Betson. Unable to hit. Harad knocked it out.
You like the activity, and that's where you want to be. But right now, if you're Colorado, you've got to be able to get downhill. Kansas State out in transition. Harad able to find it in the open floor, but then Wooten just puts the ball in her hands, gets to the middle of the floor, and that's where the attack place is against the 2-3. We've said you want to pass out of there, but if you can get there on the penetration, you're going to give yourself so many opportunities to operate.
These teams sitting at 4-4 in the Big 12, coming into play today, but neither side has been able to pull away. Both teams ranking in the top 65 of the net rankings. Very similar resumes as you look at the 2 teams. Claston's making not a great pass, and the ball knocked out by the Buffs.
Kind of that mid-log jam within the Big 12 conference standings. You got teams at 5-4, 5-5, 4-4, 4-4, 4-5. Just everyone kind of in that middle section. But it just tells you how competitive, top to bottom, this league is, and night in, night out, no nights off.
The net rankings right now for the league, one of the metrics used by the committee for the selection of the 64-team field. These 2 teams, a lot of work to be done to be in that conversation, although Colorado, in the latest bracketology, is listed as one of the next 4 out teams. Wooten on the breakaway, able to lay it in. And Wooten now with 9.
Great stand defensively, and that's what you have to do. You've got to get stops. And when they have opportunities, they want to get out and run. This is not a team that's going to shoot a lot of 3, Brian. They're going to make you pay in other ways.
Arenas, good look at a 3, but left it short. K-State is 0 of 8 from behind the arc. A team that came in the top half of the league in 3-point shooting. Masagayo over White. And a timeout by Jeff Bidding. Colorado, with their largest lead of the game of 8 points, forces a timeout by Kansas State. We'll talk Colorado executing down the stretch when we return with Sophie Smith. Right now, doing everything right with a 6-0 run to go up by 8.
Welcome back to some great women's Big 12 basketball here on ESPN+. Earlier this week, Colorado coach J.R. Payne said that her group has really kind of struggled to execute down the stretch in some of their close one-possession games. She praised her team, saying that they have a great group of players, and as a group, they are so hard-working and love playing together. Coach Payne said that the loss against UCF was so crushing because they know what they're capable of, but seeing them execute late and play with some confidence against Oklahoma State showed them how much they've really grown on the court.
Oklahoma State was by far, I think, the feather in the cap for Colorado of their performance to this point, trying to build off of that with a low performance here at K-State. It's been a good start third quarter, hitting 4 of 8 shots.
Well, keep in mind, Colorado's won 2 of their last 3, and you go to those 3 games, it was a 6-point win against Iowa State, a 6-point loss at UCF, and a 5-point win over Oklahoma State. All of those things start to add up. You figure out a way to get it done. They've had to work to figure out how to close games out.
UCF game was one that stuck in their craw, let a late lead slip away, and saw the Knights hold serve at home. K-State gets the bucket from Garcia, then they get the turnover. Can they make it a 2-for-1? May have had White. Spicer instead, driving, getting fouled. And Spicer probably bailed out on the call. That'll put Jordan Spicer, who had to sit with 3 fouls to start this quarter. She'll be at the free throw line when we return. NCAA Women's Final Four in 2026 is headed to Arizona later this spring. Starting April 2nd, downtown Phoenix will be home to the biggest stage in women's basketball, including free events for all ages all weekend long. The semifinals will both air on ESPN on Friday, April 3rd, followed by the championship game on ABC on Sunday, April 5th. You can learn more at ncaa.com/women's Final Four. Colorado got up by a game-high 8. K-State has since hit a basket, and now they have Spicer at the free throw line to shoot 2 out of this timeout. And Spicer with a team-leading 7 off the bench today for K-State. And she hits both. So a little bit of offensive comeback by K-State. They have not hit a 3 in this game. A team that came in averaging almost 9 makes a game. One of the best marks of the Big 12, and a baseline jumper by Logan Greer.
The possessions now, Colorado 4 of their last 4 from the field. Better ball movement against the zone, Brian. They haven't settled, and it's gotten to the short corner and the baseline for jumpers.
Classens wanted to whip that in to Ramaya White, but could not get it over the head of Spicer. Not a great pass by Classens, who threw it as a line driver.
Yeah, too much traffic. You've got to be able to complete that pass. Give yourself an opportunity to allow your post players even to just go up and gather and finish. But off the turnover, Colorado off to the races. Walker drawing contact. Late whistle comes in. Diana Walker headed to the free throw line. They're going to call it with the bloody against Nastia Classens. And that's her 3rd personal.
Tough call, certainly. Jet Biddy is letting Angel Kent hear it about it. Walker missed one more coming up. She missed both. 3 breadsticks for the student section. That's why they're happy. When an opponent misses 2 free throws, it's free breadsticks for those that have come to the game. Nothing personal there on Walker, the former Wildcat. Ramaya White able to drive inside on a foul underneath on Masagayo, who tried to go down on the offensive contact from White.
But we've seen this possession now multiple times here in this 3rd quarter. It started with an ISO for Nastia Classens early in the 3rd. Now a couple opportunities to try to feed Ramaya White deep on that low block. Allow to pin, establish position, and feed your post. K-State's done a pretty good job of identifying it. It was the turnover the last trip by Classens. Not a great pass. That one much better. White gets to the line.
White missed the first, able to hit the second. She's got 3 points. Maya White, who got the start today for K-State. The gap is 5. It's been as many as 8 for Colorado. K-State has led by as many as 3 all the way back in the second quarter. Kickball by Classens. So now you've had the initial wave of that third quarter blitz. You've made the adjustments. Now it's adjustment to the adjustments, so to speak, by each team as we settle into this one. Game won by Colorado a year ago in Boulder, 63-53. And again, that was against the Sweet 16 version of K-State. 2 totally different teams a year later here in Manhattan. Wooten lets it go, a 3-pointer, couldn't hit it. Had a good look, looked good from where we were sitting.
Yeah, right in front of us, dead on. Been the top 3-point threat for the Buffs, couldn't get it to go.
Sides late on that pass, and it's picked off as Masagayo gets around White. Coach Jeff Mitty bent over at midcourt. Disappointed. They had it. It was just late.
Well, it was great anticipation by Masagayo. She's able to get around, and you see that athleticism and length that she plays with on both ends.
White knocks away the pass inside. K-State in transition. Good defense by Gooden to match up against Spicer.
If Colorado's going to go one-on-one, Brian, you've got to be able to allow White to get deep in that post, be high.
Finally a 3 down for K-State. That's the first points of the game for Terran Sides. Timeout Colorado as the crowd into it. K-State within 2. Sides gets the better of her former teammate, Zai Walker, letting her fly by. Then the patented Terran Side step to the side and let it go.
Well, and so much attention being drawn to Ramaya White on the inside in the post. With that said, movement for Terran Sides. Uses a sidestep and the pump fake, and Diana Walker bites on it, knocks down a 3. She's coming off a huge day in Lawrence, 26 points, went 5 of 8 from behind the arc. Just her first points and first makes of the night tonight here at home. And if you're Kansas State and you're looking without Tess Heel, without some of that reliable scoring that they have gotten from her throughout the course of the season, we mentioned at the outset, Brian, needing the front court, needing your post players just to give you a little bit here or there. I look at your front court and see posts and say, all right, I need you to do 3 things. I need you to defend, I need you to rebound, and not foul. Any scoring bonus that you get is going to be extra. But you've got to have others produce, and they've got to do it within the framework of what they normally do. 3 points for Terran Side so far. That's part of the reason why K-State is trailing. But you get her going, that's a bonus to gain momentum.
Truthfully, it feels like K-State's posts, who haven't accrued a bunch of eye-popping stats as far as rebounds or points.
You're impacting the game.
I would say that's a great point. 3-pointer by the Buffs goes way off the way, but Masagayo on the weak side able to get the rebound and put it in. She's got 8.
Mackerlane can't get it to go, but you have Masagayo on that weak side. You've got to put a body on the Buffs.
Spicer unable to hit. We'll get to the free throw line.
We saw that spin move, trying to draw that contact in the first half. One was whistled for an offensive foul. That time, the foul's going to go against Colorado. And it's going to be out of bounds. It is not going to be on the shot. 21 on that shot clock underneath for Kansas State.
4th foul by the Buffs, so any more fouls and it will be a shooting situation for K-State. Travel called by on the Wildcats on that play on the inbound. Oh, I don't see that. See the replay. A turnover by Kansas State, their 15th. 4-point lead for the Buffs. Built it up to 8. Trying to hang on here at the end of the third. Mackerlane, way too strong. And a rebound out of bounds to K-State. After 3 threes made early by the Buffs, they've hit none in the second half. Here's that travel on the inbounds.
It's going to come on that inbound right there.
Shekic.
And it looked as though her feet moved as she made that catch, and it was, again, right in front of the official on the out of bounds underneath. Hard to hide, hard to avoid.
Spicer one-on-one. Done a lot of that with K-State's freshman Spicer. Garcia trying to spin and shoot, could not. Masagayo fouled by Shekic.
and the activity of Jade Masagayo. I think that makes her one of the most underrated rebounders, especially in the Big 12, Brian, but really just all-around players that gives you great effort night in, night out. She was an all Big 12 honorable mention pick a season ago, averaging just shy of 11 points a game, over 5 rebounds, but it's her activity with that length and athleticism. She's tough to block out, tough to contain.
Colorado with a shot clock winding down. Looking for Masagayo instead. Baseline, Dutab, shot blocked. K-State's got the ball. For more on Masagayo, let's go to Sophie Smith.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, Coach Payne really praised Masagayo, saying that as talented as she is, she's so extremely humble, almost to a fault. And for them to be successful, she needs to be aggressive, and that's really what we're seeing right now from the Buffs.
Walker on the other end, able to lay it in.
And now we've seen the tempo pick up go in both directions. Kansas State gets an easy layup, but then off the make, trying to get that pressure set. Colorado beats it quick.
Shekic with that basket the last time down was her first career hoop. Trying to get the rebound here, will not, and gets called for going over the top of the Buffalo that she was trying to get around, and that'll be the third on Shekic. 16 seconds left for the Buffs to try and take a lead to the fourth.
Yeah, long three, probably not the shot that Jeff Mittie wanted, Brian. I think here to end this third quarter, you had a chance to run out the clock, be able to go for one. It wasn't there. Now just the 4th team foul on K-State. Colorado's going to have the possession here to close the third.
State will ease off the press here and let Colorado get to the front court. 10 seconds remaining. Little 1-3-1 look by K-State. Betson guarded 3, nowhere close, and that'll end the third. 3 quarters in the book, and it continues to be a defensive battle between these two teams. Sides with a 3-pointer in that third quarter, the only one down for K-State. Do they have a comeback in them for the fourth? Start of the fourth quarter coming up. 2 former Wildcat greats in attendance. Got former McDonald's All-American Gabby Gregory, who finished her last 2 years here at K-State, transferring from Oklahoma, and Aoka Lee, the All-American, here as well. Elsewhere in the Big 12 tonight, what a game down in Fort Worth, Texas. We saw the Jayhawks on Sunday, Missy, and it felt like KU was starting to turn a corner, finally getting healthy, starting to get everybody together. They gave quite a scare to 12th-ranked TCU tonight.
Well, I think that's the key for Kansas, is they've got to stay healthy now as you get into the month of February. Jalea Davis, the fantastic freshman, now 4 times in a row Big 12 Freshman of the Week, and she earns it each and every time. So many great players in this league. But I think Kansas giving TCU all they needed, but the Horned Frogs finding a way to win at home.
They had 3 players foul out, including Olivia Miles, but hang on for the victory. 29, as you said, for Davis, 24 for Nichols, and a foul on Shekic will be her 4th to begin this fourth quarter, as Masagayo will get to the free throw line.
And those are looks for Masagayo, and at 6'3", they've got to get the senior those touches here in the fourth quarter. It's been a quiet game for her, just 3 of 8 so far in this matchup. Coming off a season-high 22 against Oklahoma State, where she was 9 of 14 from the field. So she could shoot it at a high rate and high efficiency.
She'll miss the first free throw, 2 out of 3 so far, 1 more coming up. 65% career free throw shooter. She's had a better season this year at 76%. Had a big game against K-State a year ago, 13-7. The matchup in Boulder, she has 9 points.
And I think sometimes it can be, for a player like her, throughout the course of the season, sometimes more quiet than others. It's not super flashy, but she's going to get it done. And she works incredibly hard. J.R. Payne, they rely on her, especially on the glass, to create opportunities and to clean it up defensively.
Classens hesitated, but then took the 3 and hits it. Just the second big triple by K-State. Masagayo to the baseline. Denied by K-State. She drew a crowd. It's a 2-point game. Betson an answer 3. No. And Spicer fouled on the rebound by Greer. Foul on Greer.
The ball movement for Colorado, opportunities for them to go inside out. Now they've settled for some tough shots. They had the ISO to start the quarter with Masagayo, but Kansas State kind of taking a piece out of that playbook. You got to get the ball movement and find the shooters in the corner. Don't hesitate. Step up and knock them down.
Walker, who has had the majority of the defensive assignment today on sides. She's held her former teammate to just 3 points. Spicer driving, foul by Masagayo. And another bailout whistle.
Swatted. That's the difference. She did a great job of keeping Jordan Spicer in front of her. Makes her have to turn her back on the spin dribble. She's all there, but it's the swat with the right hand. Draws the contact, comes down on her, and that is sending the freshman to the free throw line.
You know, we saw that shot of Gabby Gregory early, and of course Tess Hill we talked about at the outset, but K-State's kind of running everything through Jordan Spicer the way they would with Heel. And he would back somebody down, but kind of one-on-one and let Spicer's size, kind of like Gregory, work her way into the paint.
Yeah,
she's got 10 points.
You want to be able to give her some ISO opportunities, and so what she's got to be able to do is identify. It cannot become a black hole. So each and every time you get a touch and they want to give you that chance to back somebody down, doesn't mean it needs to go up. You draw a crowd, someone else is going to be open.
This is just the second time in this game that the teams have been tied. It has been a great battle. Masagayo inside, couldn't get it. Harad and a tie-up with Betson. And the arrow to K-State.
Point-blank miss by the 6'3" senior, and Jade Masagayo, one I know she would love to have back. Betson almost able to rip it away, but Harad stays with the possession. Those 50-50 balls right there. Don't necessarily get it, but you don't give Colorado an easy look on the offensive glass. Tie up, go the other way.
Garcia driving, and a whistle is a big-time bailout for Garcia because she was close to a trouble.
Yeah, that was going to be a turnover going the other direction. Could have easily been a run out if it hadn't been whistled. Turns the corner, Wooten lets her go. Greer is there in help side, but just too much on the reach.
3 fouls on Greer. Three fouls on the Buffs in the fourth. Garcia does not use the screen. Drives, doesn't hit, and the ball out of bounds. And a foul on K-State on Harad.
That's going to go against Brandy Harad, one of those hustle fouls. Jeff Mitty not at all happy about the whistle, but you can't be unhappy with Brandy Harad. Trying to make something happen, going after the loose ball. Betson has inside position, just too much contact, whistled there. Going back the other way for Colorado.
3 fouls now on Harad. 4 on Chekic, 3 on Harad, Klassens, and Spicer. Jumper doesn't go. Ball out of bounds to K-State.
You know, it's so interesting, Brian, because you think about the game in Lawrence on Sunday against Kansas. K-State used the zone defense, the 2-3, a little bit of 1-3-1, tried to get the press set, not super effective, but Kansas shot them right out of it. For Colorado, they do not have a lot of three-point shooting threats, so they've been bogged down. That's why this game is sitting under 40 right now.
That's going to change with Harad getting an and one. K-State, Garcia able to draw a crowd, find Harad, and one thing she has shown, this freshman who ranked 38th in the nation as a high school recruit, is an ability to go from the elbow to the basket and with athleticism, and Betson the guilty party of a foul.
Well, straight line, and you've got to be able to put the defense on your backside and then handle the contact. Betson came over and help side, created a lot of contact, and then you've got to be able to finish. You've got to do two things, either give yourself a chance at the three-point play or get 2 shots at the foul line.
Harad, who has struggled all year for the line at just 35%, swishes the free throw. Masagayo working hard to try and get free inside. So far, Colorado hasn't found her. Betson, good movement, finds Wooten. Three-pointer, no. Put back up and in, and a timeout by the Buffaloes as Greer gets there for the stick back.
Skies for that offensive rebound and a big-time possession. An offensive rebound from the freshman when they needed it the most. Colorado pulls within 1.
Environment pretty good inside Bramlage Coliseum, and a great battle on the court between these two Big 12 old Big 8 rivals. K-State, Colorado, 41-40, 7 minutes to play here in the fourth. The Stars have come out. We opened the night talking about Zy Walker, her return to Manhattan. She has led the charge in a good line across the way for this Colorado team. Not only 8 points, 7 boards, but 4 steals for Walker. You see Spicer leading the way, 6 of 6 at the foul line for the true freshman. And Masagallo started to pick it up here late with 9 points. K-State with the ball and a 1-point lead. Colorado's led by as many as 8. Little give and go to Harad. Blocked from behind by Wu.
What a play that time. Coming in deep, the 5'8" junior got hung up on that high ball screen. And on the slip and the pick and roll, able to come on the weak side, and Brandy Harad not able to handle that one.
Well, design play by K-State to get Harad a shot at the hoop, but a better defensive play by Wooten. Here's Spicer. She's done a lot of the heavy lifting. Spinning, finding Classens. Couldn't hit the shot. Got right underneath the basket and maybe too far under the basket. Colorado with a chance to get back in the lead. Good. Colorado good passing around the perimeter, trying to find something against this zone defense that's packed in. Wooten into the lane, throws it up and scores!
Through traffic, could have been whistled for an and one, no call. But you got to slice and dice. We said it time and time again, Brian. You've got to find the seams against that 2-3.
4th straight double-figure game for Wooten. Here's Classens, fouled as she goes up. Wooten commits the personal. Wooten now in double figures, 4 straight games, 6 of the last 7.
But she's getting hung up on that high ball screen, Brian. That's the difference. You're going to see her put it on the floor, be able to get by the defenders. Made a tough shot, even through contact, but on the other end, getting hung up on that high ball screen by K-State as they try to run those guards off, and then they're using that pick and roll. So it's been a great identifier for these Wildcat backcourt players to be able to know if they're going to get hung up, you're not going to have that switch, and she's going to be there.
So right here, what you're talking about, playing from behind, having to reach in. That's the 5th foul by the Buffs. So K-State's at the line the rest of the 4th quarter. Now, K-State is not a great free throw shooting team, 70%. They've had some issues at the line. But they do have a few, including Spicer, who are near 90%. Just some others that are well below 50%. Walker dared to take the 3. She'll hit it.
Big shot right there by the 5'11" junior. Get that ball movement against the zone. Skip pass, feet ready. That's when your eyes light up. You've got to be ready to catch. You are never more open than when you catch the basketball right off the jump. 3
shots in a row made by the Buffs. Denial of Spicer. Walker on sides. She's held her to 3 points. And an offensive foul called on Classens. 4th foul on Natasha Classens. And a turnover by K-State is their 16th.
A lot of traffic. You get stagnant up top. A bit of a hesitation, waiting to see if they were going to come out and contest, but it was a late contest by Classens, and Walker drills the 3.
Mistake by Classens on both ends. Junior in her first year of American basketball, Belgian national team member. Drop off to Masagallo. 4 shots in a row made by the Buffs.
When Colorado's been able to put it on the floor, they have had been in attack mode against this 2-3. Dribble penetration can be that is what will break your zone.
Spicer couldn't quite get free for a 3. No field goals the last 3 minutes for K-State, and another offensive foul on Classens. She's out of the game.
Colorado has made the adjustment, Brian, to go underneath the screens up top. They know that Gina Garcia is not going to be a big 3-point threat. Go underneath the screen, force then that contact. Arms are out, hands are up, makes it, feet are not set, and it is a moving screen. I mean, it is hard to argue with that whistle. Toughest one part about it is that's 5 fouls now on Nastia Classen. She had picked up the 4th in a similar situation. Now that's the 5th. You're going to need some big minutes right here from your bench.
7 points for Classens to end the day. 2 of 6 shooting, 3 boards, but 4 turnovers and the 5 fouls. Colorado got the big 3 from Zy Walker. Masagayo, another one inside.
High-low cut, right from the elbow, dive deep to that block against the zone, and it's an easy bucket through traffic for Masagayo.
7-0 run by the Buffs the last 80 seconds, an 11-1 run the last 3 minutes. Spicer, a guarded 3. Frustration shot, does it go? K-State strips Walker of the ball, gets another chance. And a whistle.
I think we have an issue, shot clock.
Yep, it reset.
On the reset all the way to 30. Should not have reset. Only to 20 on that change of possession as it was knocked out of Walker's hands by Foy.
K-State with the ball. Spicer fouled by Betson. That'll get her to the free throw line. Colorado's being very physical on Spicer as she works around cutters or set screens on the baseline.
Well, you have to. You cannot give her space. And so much of that is just going to be drilled in, and the adjustment is that you've got to stay within, probably almost keep an arm bar on her all the way around. You give her too much space when she comes around on those cuts, she's going to look to shoot that 3. You got to run her off that 3-point line. That's what the defensive mentality is for Colorado right now. Keep them off the 3, force them into tough guarded 2s, which they have been all night long.
Both teams will be in the bonus the rest of this game. Spicer, 7 of 7 at the free throw line. The single season record by a freshman in free throw percentage is 89.5%, set by Lori Kane, one of the great shooters in women's college basketball history. Jordan Spicer came into today at 88.5%, and she's only added to that by going 7 of 7. Now 45 of 50 on the year. Buffaloes have hit 5 shots in a row, including a 3. Shot clock winding down. Can they make it 6? No. And White the rebound, tied up. That's a Buffalo possession.
Great job right there by Colorado just to keep that possession alive. White got the rebound, brought it down, too much traffic. You force Colorado into a tough shot with the shot clock winding down, but cannot corral it, cannot keep the possession.
So their first miss in 6 trips down the court. They still get the ball back to the Buffs. The ball on the interior, though, it's knocked away. 16th turnover by Colorado. Walker quickly finds sides in transition. Here is Spicer. He's been really the sole source of offense for K-State. Garcia, a drive, little runner. 8 points for Gina Garcia.
If you're the Buffs, you're going to give that one. This is force Kansas State out of their zone, out of the press. We have not seen them, even on a make or off the free throws, Brian, get into that full court pressure.
They stayed out of that after getting burned a few times early. Masagayo separates from White, cross court to Greer, big 3, couldn't get it. Masagayo, a massive offensive rebound.
Second possessions, 50-50 balls. They have gone their way here in the 4th.
8th board for Masagayo. Gooden saves a near turnover. Dutat. All the way out to Walker. Guarded 3, no. Rebound, battle, put back, no. And a foul on Relia White.
Crashing the offensive glass, and Greer couldn't get it to go, but the 6'4" freshman, high-level activity, and nobody put a body on the weak side. Missed by Walker. Masagayo keeps it alive. And now Logan Greer is headed to the free throw line. Been so impressed by just the relentlessness of this Colorado team on the offensive glass. I think J.R. Payne said she knows how important it is in each and every game. It is a critical factor and a key for them. They've not only got to be able to handle pressure got to make good decisions in the half court, take care of the basketball, but they've got to rebound, and they have done that here tonight with second chances.
37-32. It was a sizable rebound advantage for Colorado after the first quarter. It has come a little bit tighter, but still second chance points, as you said, has been a big part of this game. Here's Harad driving to the basket and a foul as she gets up in the air. Shot was blocked, but contact below, and that'll send Harad to the free throw line. Harad made a free throw earlier, but this is not necessarily a bad deal if you're Colorado.
And that is personal foul number 4 on Logan Greer. So that is one to keep your eye on here now. Under 2 minutes to go.
Harad with 8 points to go along with 4 boards. One more free throw for the native of Oklahoma City. She'll miss the second free throw. Betson gets the loose ball. 4-point lead, 1:40 to play. Showed you the graphic earlier about Colorado in close games. K-State has struggled as well in games less than 5 points, just 5 and 4. A year ago, they were dominant in those games. And a long three poured in for the top of the circle by Greer.
Picked up her 4th foul and then comes back so patiently, almost the trailer. Knocks down a 3 from the top of the key.
Greer, who was recruited by K-State, in the end picked Colorado. May have provided the death blow against the team that also was hard in recruiting her. And a foul by Sides on Walker with 1:04 to go.
Down the stretch, how important it is to be able to close games out. You need players to step up and make shots. A great pass by Tabitha Benson. She was able to identify the traffic down in that low block in the short corner. Finds Logan Greer, she knocks down that 3. The last 3 games for Colorado, a 6-point win against Iowa State, a 6-point loss at UCF, and a 5-point win against Oklahoma State. Having won 2 of those last 3 games, Brian, and you think about that thin margin and what that looks like. It's 1 or 2 possessions, 1 or 2 makes. A turnover, an offensive board here or there, a 50-50 ball you've got to go get. Colorado starting to figure it out and doing it here on the road in Bramlage.
Largest lead of the game down with 9. Garcia sprint dribble down the lane, lobs it down low to White. Triple teamed and a foul called on Colorado with 55 seconds left. Cannot be what the Buffs wanted. And it'll go on Gooden.
You want the double triple team. You just want to do it without fouling, especially since this is now Kansas State that is in the double bonus and have been for some time here in the 4th.
Foul went on Anna Gooden. So puts White at the free throw line. She'll miss the first. Mentioned Gooden, again, her father played football here at K-State, Eric Gooden, back in 1998. As White misses both, that's a costly miss. And that might be the end for K-State. Energy and effort were better for the Wildcats than they were on Sunday against the Jayhawks. Defensively played much better. But in the end, the Buffaloes make the plays they needed to. Led by this young lady, Zai Walker.
Yeah, much more assignment sound defensively for Kansas State, but when push came to shove, this Colorado team found a way to be able to get those second chance opportunities, find themselves some buckets when they needed it the most. Players stepping up, they spread the wealth and the balance of what you see from this Colorado team. That is what has given them opportunities down the stretch. Multiple players in double figures, 3 in double figures in that win over Oklahoma State. And they spread it out yet again today with 4 players hitting double figures tonight here on the road.
And the team that is on the fringe of the NCAA bubble continues to improve that resume. Zai Walker in her return to her home state, leading the way for this Colorado team. A career high 10 rebounds for Walker, part of a double-double for Zai Walker to lead the way for the Buffs to get the win. We'll see if we can get a visit with her after this game is over, as you see her congratulate some of her former teammates. What a win. Kansas State with a loss now, 11-11. and 4 for 4 and 5 of the Big 12. Colorado now 5 and 4. They've won 2 straight, 3 of the last 4. And as you said, maybe starting to come alive a little bit for the Colorado in the Big 12.
Yeah, it's a logjam, and that's where the logjam has been with these teams, and so much similarities in what they all can do. But we say it all the time, Brian, you've got to be able to win on the road. You got to win at home and steal a couple on the road, and that's what this Colorado team has done.
Let's go to Sophie Smith.
Zai, I see the emotion. What did it mean to come back and get this one with this team?
It meant so much. Like, obviously I spent 2 years here, so, you know, they were great years, and I just felt so much love here, so it felt good to come back and compete against them.
Well, I see the love between you two. What does Zai bring to this team, Coach?
Oh my gosh, so much heart, so much passion. A lot of times we talk about the heart of a buffalo like it's just pure toughness, and that's what Zai brings to this ball club.
Congrats to you two. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Go Buffs.
All right, thank you, Sophie. J.R. Payne's team comes on the road. Talk about tough. It was needed to be tough. It was not pretty at times, but the Buffs in the last stages of that fourth quarter hit 5 shots in a row, really closed down K-State. You see Zai with her double-double, just the second of her career, the first of this season. K-State, the three-point shot is a big part of their game, and they never got comfortable behind the arc.
No, they did not, and give credit, this Colorado defense ran them off that three-point line all night. They were tough. They were in their face. They were contested. Kansas State, no field goals the last 2:51 of that fourth quarter. They got to the free throw line just simply because of the double bonus, but you got to find ways to generate offense in other spots. They could not do that tonight. This was a rock fight all the way around. There are not going to be many nights, ladies and gentlemen, in the Big 12 where this score is going to look like this, and you hold teams under 60 and under 50 and still get a win. But congratulations to Colorado, because they made the plays down the stretch that they needed to. And J.R. Payne's team, I think, starting to gelling and finding their role right at the right time come February.
Yep, 4 in double figures for the Buffs. Greer with 11, Wooten with 11, Massaguy, Walker each with 13. Spicer, the only one in double figures for K-State, had 12. Next up for K-State, road trip to Arizona. Arizona State and Arizona. The Buffs continue to stay in the Sunflower State. They get the Jayhawks coming up on Sunday. For producer-director Alex Karbach and Missy Heydrich and Sophie Smith, this is Brian Smuller saying so long from Manhattan.